I'm Charles with CAS Pens. I'm here to show you the SawStop 27-inch router table, the wing, and their new router lift. This goes on my 10-inch professional cabinet saw, and I'll go over details and assembly tricks and problems I had and things that I forgot to order. Right off the top, when you have a 10-inch cabinet saw with the 36-inch table, this is the original part of the table. This is the new router portion of the table. One thing I was not aware of when I did my order of this was you need an intermediate cast iron table or an intermediate cast iron wing so that it extends the regular table to meet this. If you don't, you'll have to do a phenolic insert of your own or some type of a wood table extension. Another part that I had to replace were the rails. This is the old rail, and you'll notice there's no cutout here, and here are the new rails installed with the miter gauge cutout there. Otherwise, you'd never be able to run out the end. What you see now is the 27-inch router table, which is this section. The fence comes with the router table. We have the router lift. I decided to go with a dedicated SawStop router lift. I figured it would be a closer match to the table, and I wouldn't have any adjustments to make as far as the plate. I'm sure they're all standard. I haven't looked at all of them. With that, that is separate, and we'll show in a future picture, is the dust collection box, the switch and everything. The legs and the switch and a place to hold all the tools also comes with the router table. The router fence goes off and on pretty easily. You have to align some nuts into the slots, into the holes. Go into the slots. You have a lot of maneuverability. The plate on the router lift gives you index numbers so that you can line up the plate. The knobs screw down quickly. It's a nice thread so you're not spinning. You can see across the top you have an index so that you can do your flip stops, which I'll show later. The fence opens and closes just like all the rest to capture the dust and also reduce down when you're doing jointer or regular router operations. What you see here is the router lift in full. I have a Porter Cable 890 router motor. The carriage plate assembly, which is this part here, appears to be a solid aluminum cast. The gears are run by a chain, almost like a timing chain. You have the offset here to tighten and loosen the gears just in case there's any slippage. Everything is very solid. This is a solid aluminum plate, and it's a phenolic insert, which we'll see in the next shot. The router plate is supported by 10 adjustment screws. You have 2 on either side of the screws that hold the plate down. You have 8 others besides that. One bit of advice: set the screws level before you put the motor on. Now, details about the router lift. You've got the adjustment. It's a very smooth adjustment up and down. You can get very fine adjustments. Each one of the notches on the lift are at 0.02 of an inch. Details on that is you have to get it zeroed so you have a positive feel on that part. There's 0.01 of an inch play in the lift itself. So you have 0, you have 1/1000th of an inch, and then you have another 1/1000th of an inch to that 2/1000 mark. I have tested it with my gauge. The lift is very accurate on these marks. The only problem I have with the marks is that they are all a 32nd of an inch wide, so that you're going, okay, do I line it center? Do I line it on the edge? The same is a problem with the fence measurements here. If you're sneaking up on a measurement, you have a 32nd of an inch is the width of the line, so you have to decide front of the line, back of the line. The numbers are, however, really nice for keeping your fence square so that your measurements are accurate coming this way. I've had other fences that have no markings, and it makes it very difficult. The phenolic inserts are just a minimal turn, and they're out and then back in. The lock mechanism is quick. Once you get it in, and it's about half a turn or a quarter of a turn. The downside to this is, since it is a hex wrench, you have quite a bit of space between one point and another point. So if you have your router bit at the height you wanted and you're trying to zero that out, you may get it zeroed, or it may be off slightly. The other little detail is I was playing with a round over bit, and I did this quickly with my hand, and I noticed that I drug my fingers across this, and this is very easy to move. It is recessed below the plate so that wood won't cause it to move, but if you drag your fingers, or you're doing something close to the bit with a narrow piece, there's a possibility you could move this. The dust collection port, you can see where the hose from the fence comes down, and it's got a small section here where that is ported, and then the regular dust collection box is gathered by the rest of that 4-inch hose. What you're seeing now is the vent, so you can increase and decrease the suction or the dust collection. The feature here where the cord of the router comes out, it's nice because that can go on either side of this dust collection box. This can also be on the either side or the back, and it switches with the dust collection port. There is a blank plate that you'll see on the other side. Here is, there's a little attachment to the leg. You've got the insert wrench, you have the collet wrench, and you have the wrench to raise and lower the lift. What you see here are the flip stops, the proprietary ones that you can get for this fence, the stock guide, and I also got a collection of different size inserts so I can run bits that are more closely zero clearance. It has a lot of accessories. They have feather boards, and they have brass guide sets. Overall, it's a nice table. It fits with my 36-inch table on my SawStop table saw. It eliminated a standalone router table and got me some space because my shop is so small. I'm always looking for more space. Overall, I'm very happy with the ease with which it came together. The rails were easy to put on. The only small challenge I had were maybe a 3/1000th of an inch on these tables to get them absolutely flat. I don't know whether there was debris or maybe there was a milling issue, but 3/1000ths of an inch is very small. Everything came and went together quickly. It took me as long to unbox it as it did to put it together. Check the description below for all the links on how to get in contact with me if you have any questions about my experience with this saw. Thank you.